Good day, good people. Relevant Thoughts Blog is back. I'm your guy, Lewis to the T, and excited as always to be talking to you. I'm going to be doing things a little bit different this month. I know you're used to hearing from me on a Sunday, but we're going to be doing Monday Moments. That's what I'm calling it. We're going to be doing Monday Moments during the month of June, and I'm ready today to talk to you about the new series entitled Pride. What does that mean for me? Hopefully you'll let me know what it means for you. So the series for the month is going to be called Pride, but of course the t-shirt always gives you a little bit of a hint as to what the week is going to be about. So this week I'm going to be talking about Black Pride and all that that means. Today is Monday, June 7th, 2021, and we're just going to jump right into it. So to start off, I want to make sure that I address the idea of Black Pride. I mean, you know, it means different things, and not everybody watching the video is going to be an African-American person. Hopefully, you know, it'll reach people who this is going to be something different for them. I know sometimes people are offended. Sometimes people are confused. They have a lot of questions. You know, why do we have to hear about race so much? And why is this so important? And, you know, what if I yelled white pride? Well, we know that means something a little bit different historically. So even if you mean it in a good way, we have to talk about where we are and who we are as a people, as a nation, as Americans. We know historical context makes a difference. Hearing white pride does not mean the same as hearing Black pride. So let's talk about it. Let's explore it a little bit. The reason why Black Pride is important, the reason why you hear this from African-American people is our attempt, it is our intent to ensure that other Black people and people outside of our race recognize the greatness of who we are and the value that we bring. The reason why this is necessary is because so long, just that one aspect of the demographic, race, when you're talking about categories and boxes that people are put in our country, race is probably the most polarizing and the most difficult aspect of that conversation. So we have to talk about it. Oftentimes being Black in our country has been, again, it's been demonized. There are aspects of being Black that was illegal, you know, historically. You could not read specifically because you were Black. Interracial dating and marriage was outlawed specifically in regard to Black people. So when you talk about Black Pride, or when you hear us celebrate who we are as a race, it's because for so long it has been deemed something that was bad, negative, not worthy or value adding. So this is our attempt, internally first, to teach each other to be proud of who you are, to not listen to, you know, the negativity that comes externally, not listen to, you know, your nose is too big, your lips are too thick, your butt is too big, your skin is too dark. We have to be able to speak to each other in a positive way about all those things that at one point was deemed really bad and horrible and negative about us. A whole generation or generations of African-American people, particularly Black women, were denied being models. Whole generation of models were denied specifically because of their looks. And now the enhancement industry, which is oftentimes used to have other women appear to have more African-centered features, is one of the biggest in the world. Not just the country, but the world, where people are injecting their lips so they can be bigger, getting implants in their butt so they can be bigger, darkening their skin with tans, which has been going on forever, right? So all of these things that Black women in the modeling industry were told were bad about them, negative about them, are now not just celebrated, which would be a good way of saying it, but have been hijacked in order for other people to benefit from and make money off of. So that is the reason why we talk about pride, is to take all the different aspects that were deemed negative, that were just our being, right? It wasn't things that we were doing on purpose. We couldn't be born a particular way. We just so happened to have certain characteristics and certain dimensions, but we had to take back you know, all of the negativity associated with it and make sure that we emphasize the positive about who we are as a people. It was our attempt, it is our current attempt and intent to raise people without that trauma, without that baggage, without that hatefulness that we oftentimes internalize for ourselves. And so that is why we talk about Black Pride. That is why it is a big deal. It's not about pulling a race card. Race is not a card, it's who we are. as a people. It's how we walk in our being. And because in our country, historically, it has been attacked, we have to go above and beyond to ensure that it's celebrated and to talk about why it should be celebrated. Race impacts our educational system, our economics. It determines where you live and how you live and who you are in this world, particularly if you are in the United States of America. And so we have to make sure that we celebrate one another. We have to make sure that we heal internally, uplift internally, as we fight for justice externally, as we fight for recognition and just fair treatment, externally. We have to do these things internally. And so that's where it comes from. It's an extension of Black History Month, in my opinion. When I was a little kid, we talked about Blackness in school. I mean, I went to a predominantly African-American school because of the location. Even though it was a Catholic school, the student body was Black people. That's who we were. Many of our teachers were Black people. So we were taught in school about our Blackness. And so this idea of ethnocentricity, which I was introduced to in college, the celebration of your ethnicity or your heritage, really was about helping us see ourselves in a world that had deemed us as not worthy. And so that's where it comes from. I, for one, am absolutely excited and proud and it puts a smile on my face that a part of my being is being a Black person. When I think about the music that was created, when I think about our contribution to education, when I think about what we had an opportunity to do financially and economically after being oppressed for so long, that gives me a sense of pride. Looking back over generations of people who were marginalized and beat down and not allowed to be a part of, mainstream society, and to now look at where we have come. We have a great ways to go. We have so much work to do, but we have to stop and pause for a minute and really celebrate that an enslaved people who were not deemed people are now millionaires and billionaires, also are now philanthropists, are leaders, have been a president, have been senators and congressmen, have made impacts in culture and music and art and literature. We have to celebrate that. We have to look back over that and be proud, have a sense of pride in who we are as a people and where we've come from and why it's so important. So I hope this helps somebody out. I hope this helps someone who is not an African-American person understand more about why we emphasize it and talk about it so much. I hope it helps people within our race and within our culture to really rethink how we engage one another. We can be proud of who we are. We can have checks and balances on holding one another accountable and still have a celebratory nature about who we are as Black people. It doesn't mean that everything is a free-for-all. It doesn't mean that we don't have standards, but we do have to celebrate and be proud of who we are as Black people. We come in so many different not just shades and colors, but we come in so many different religious backgrounds, we come in so many different political persuasions, and who we are as a people is as multifaceted as what we appear to be on the outside. From the spectrum as white as the wall that the dark Black paintings are hanging on, that is what we look like, and that is who we are in regard to the way that we think and feel and operate in the world. And we have to celebrate that. So again, you can always find Relevant Thoughts blog across all social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. You'll see a snippet of the video on Twitter, but on all other aspects of platforms, you'll be able to see the full video. Remember to like, share, and send to your family and friends. I'm your guy, Lewis to the T, and I'll see you again next week. Let me know what you think.